Sacramento. Present. Mrs. Morelli.
Present.
Here. Present. Mr. Anderson. Present. Mrs. Masello.
Here.
Mr. Quinn.
Here.
Mrs. Robinson. Mrs. Spinner-Diego.
Here.
Mr. White. Here. You stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting and consent for all members of the Board of Education in the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. At this time, I want to turn the meeting over to Superintendent Katz. We have a recognition for recognizing some retirees.
Well, it's one retiree. Want to join me, Mr. Sorrell? On behalf of the Board of Ed, parents, students, staff, I thank you for your 10 years of service to the school and to the community. Being the principal here is two schools, so it really is two jobs in one. And I don't know if people really recognize and appreciate that as much as it is, because it's housed in one building. We are a small school, but it's really a middle school and high school. We rose to the occasion at every turn. I only worked with you obviously for 1 out of 10 years, but by all accounts that I hear, the school was a completely different place when we started here. We brought structure, we brought procedures, we raised the level of expectation, we really improved the environment. Another thing I can see that stands out is the exceptional staff that we have. And a lot of that are people who you brought into the school. So you have obviously a great eye for talent, and you know what good teaching looks like, and you know how to empower your staff. So you certainly leave behind a great legacy with the school. Everybody appreciates what you've done in your 1 year. I appreciate the great resource that you were for me. Did a lot of things last year, and I think a lot of what's in place last year and moving forward into the future is because of the creativity and flexibility we showed last year. So I appreciate that. Wish you luck in your next endeavors.
Because I'm taking them out to dinner this morning. I'm very happy that my sons and daughter, my wife and Karen are here. Dr. Katz and I, we're a little wavery at the first, but he's got some great ideas. We actually, he's my 26th superintendent, so I've been doing a lot of 35 years, and at the school, they've come a long way, but I see it going a long way further. First of all, John, as the principal, I think you're really in good hands here. You've got an outstanding staff, office staff and teachers, probably the best I ever had. I said, what do we count on? 52 people I hired over 10 years? Well, we all hired over 10 years. And I want to know, in the next couple of years, keep in touch and tell you how much better you got. Because looking at the team, I did a couple of administrative meetings, one over the summer. It was a long one, stuff. But quite frankly, it's a great new group. Everything's moving up in a positive direction. I only want to hear good things. I'm leaving on great terms. I just want it to be that Dr. Katz, follow the whole administrative team, follow your staff, and I think you're just going to fly right to the top. So thank you for everything. I'm going to miss you guys, and goodbye very quickly.
I would like to just say a few words about Jim. Jim, it was a pleasure working with you all these years. The last 3 on the board, but the 10 years with the police department. You were always very cooperative, and you ran a very tight ship. I think that all the principals, I've been a police officer for 32 years, and all the principals, I think that you really were concerned about discipline in the school, and you made sure that the school was kept secure, and that there was no one in the building or there was anything going on outside the building. You were very concerned about security, and it was a real good thing. I admire your passion That's the one, I think that's the one, in my opinion, the greatest strength. And I know you and I, one time, we had a little, I don't know, we had a little thing, what do you want to call it? But you know what? But it was, you know what, it was because we both were very concerned about an issue. And it really, we talked about it, and I think we came away with it. The best solution, you fought for what you thought was right, and we compromised at it, and, but you know what, we had a mutual respect, we get a better respect for one another after that. So, I just think, I'm gonna miss you, the district's gonna miss you, and good luck in whatever endeavor you choose.
Thank you very much.
If anybody else wants to say anything?
Actually, for me, through the chair, Jim, I've known you many years now. You know, with my kids coming through the school system, I've dealt with you as a parent, and I've dealt with you as a peer. And you've always been kind and courteous, and you've given me the time of day, and I really appreciate that, and you will be missed. I think you'll be missed most at every sport event that I ever went to. You'd pop up no matter what, even if you were, you know, away, you missed your children's game sometime because your dad was here at this school. And you were really committed to the students and to the staff. And I'm really going to miss your smiling face around that field. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
So this is, we talked all last year about recording our board meetings and the bylaws and trying to put in place. Now we are going to have our meetings recorded. We're going to post each of these up on our website, so we will be able to.
You look good in the beard, man. You laid your back.
And for us, it's just another way of promoting the communication that we're trying to increase. It's been a goal of ours, get more information out, so hopefully we can start getting after that as well. I thank Mr. Kowalski, who's sitting underneath the camera at the moment, who was able to get this done for us tonight, and Mr. Glavacek, who's back in the other corner. And eventually, what our hope is for students to take over the production of it, either through a club that Mr. Kowalski oversees, or just through his media classes. That's a big step. We're excited to do that. You heard Mr. Sardo talk about a lot of new people in the district. Actually, had 22 new staff members, new certificated staff members starting at the beginning of the school year. 17 teachers, 5 members of our leadership team. It's an exciting time to be here. With all this, I mean, some people struggle with change sometimes, and sometimes change can be very exciting too. We're really looking at it in an exciting way. We're able to hear some of the things that we put out last year, whether it's through our budget presentation or through our entry plan presentation. We have a lot of goals and a lot of things that we want to do to improve the quality of education for our students. And we have all parts in place now to be able to do that. We have great staff that are already here, and the educators that we're bringing into the district will bring something with them to help us accomplish those goals. Specifically, our new supervisors, I just want to make note of that. I'm in charge of social studies supervisor, STEM supervisor, and supervisor of guidance. All 3 of them will be at our October board meeting. They're all going to present at our October board meeting. We have the first 90 days in the district, and we'll do the findings. Then talk about the plans for the next 6 months, and what you can expect to see from our guidance programs and from our areas of curriculum instruction, which are all really places that have been effective for a number of years in the district. Not by any intent, but really because we just didn't have instructions in place to be able to address them. So the October board meeting really good to hear from the 3 of them. Something else that's changed quite a bit, and hopefully you saw this. I want to recognize again all of our custodial maintenance staff. Hopefully, as you walked in, you just saw the hallway, and I think it looks as clean as it ever has. And painting that was done, the stripes on the walls, and just the fresh coat paint, a different way to clean the floors, different way, just anything's ready for school. The building looks great, and all of our schools look this way. So as you enter, any of the buildings, whether you have children here or in any of the elementary elementary schools. Throughout the year, you're going to see, well, at the beginning of the year, you're going to see a difference, and throughout the year, continue to make these kinds of improvements. We couldn't do everything, obviously, in 2 months summer, but at the end of this year and into next year, physical environments will really be much more optimal. And I think it's a reflection of our schools, it's a reflection of the expectations that we have for people in the district. So some people may say, well, it's a small thing, just have the buildings be cleaner and brighter, but it really isn't. It's really a big thing. It speaks to what we think of ourselves, and we want to present to ourselves, and how we want to treat our students, and it sets the tone for things that are happening in the classroom. So I really do thank Dr. Scobie and the staff for the work that they've done. I want to share a couple of important dates coming up. Back to school nights. Middle school, high school back to school night is September 11th. Long school is September 16th. Franklin School is the 17th. Smith School is the 18th. And Washington School is September 23rd. Just to note, the middle school, high school is going to have one back to school night for both. So we'll have everybody here together, which was Mr. Waller wanted to do, again, just to kind of promote a sense of community. Make sure people have the same information on the same page, and really starting to connect with each other. It's a great idea. So that is September 11th. Our referendum is set for December 9th, and it looks like our polling hours will be from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you read the May, June district update that's been on our website since then, the projects will all remain the same, costs will all remain the same. We're in the process of forming a referendum committee. Andrew Robinson is not here as your chair of that. We're bringing people from the community, parents, staff to be part of that committee as well. And we added a report that we do on each meeting for the referendum committee, so we can get updates. We're also going to do a lot to get information out to the community, so we'll hear more about that as we get closer to that meeting. NJS scores, I know parents are always curious as to when scores will be sent home. We'll be getting the state home reports from the state sometime between September 8th and 15th. At that time, be anywhere in that window, between the 8th and 15th. At that time, we'll get our mail together and we'll get those home to parents. And then we're moving to the rest of the agenda. Just a couple of updates I want to give. Kind of news from Trenton through the summer, which are things that are noteworthy. The State Board of Ed is approving some changes to Achieve New Jersey to the teacher evaluation model. There's 2 main changes that they'll be making. First is changing the percentage of the student growth percentiles, which is essentially the standardized test score piece of teachers' evaluations. That will be going from 30% of the teacher's evaluation to 10% of the teacher's evaluation. So I think in the future, their goal is to get back to 50-50, which was originally what they wanted to do. However, with NJS not being the most reliable test, changing over to PARCC this year, not having any comparisons to make, we're not sure if there's comparisons to make. They kind of put things on hold for a few more years and shrunk that number to 10%. So the remainder of that will be based on teacher goals and teacher observations. The second piece is that they are approving essentially what amounts to an appeal process for teachers or administrators who fall into the partially effective or ineffective range, so an expedited appeal process where they can have their evaluation looked at more carefully and really kind of reevaluated to make sure that they really do fall in that range and don't, it's an appeal to be able to avoid a corrective action plan or possibly a loss of tenure or lesson plan. So those are the 2 major changes there. There was legislation that passed this week, you might have seen it in the newspaper. All students in public schools in grades 9 through 12 are required to receive CPR and AED instruction and training before graduation. So this is something we'll most likely incorporate into our health classes. We haven't had those discussions yet. That is required for all public school students in high schools now. That is now state law. The governor this week, just one final note, so that the Trenton governor last week actually gave a conditional veto to legislation that would permit 2 or more candidates for the school board to circulate petitions jointly and be bracketed together on a ballot for the same term. So essentially, it permits school board candidates to run together as a team. He conditionally vetoed, however, it is expected to pass. His condition that he put on it was just that a study would be done a couple of years into it to see what impact it's had on the election. So as long as that gets added in, that there'll be a study on it, it likely will pass, and then we sign into law, school board members to be able to run on a ticket and bracket their names together. Any questions? Any of these? Usually we don't take any action on our Monday meetings, however, there are it's one workshop, 3 people attending this workshop are investigating HIV claims. The workshop is on Wednesday night, and because it's over a cost of $150, and we're moving to attend, so we'd like to include them tonight so they can attend this. This is our guidance supervisor as well as our 2 guidance counselors who will be responsible for all the HIV, most of the HIV.
Motion.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Seeing none, roll call. Mr. Armando?
Yes.
Mrs. Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Buren?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Casello?
Yes.
Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Federico?
Yes.
Mr. White? Yes.
And the student services. I have a couple of notes. And if there's any additional questions, feel free to ask, obviously. Number 2, creation of these classes. This is to support our new transitions class at the high school. So that's what these classes are for. The idea is to get the students who are in this transitions class that we're either keeping in district or moving back to district into a least restricted environment. So we're able to have their core academics in the MD class. All the others in this section are really IEP driven. Something you might notice is that we're having more of our in-house staff, more of our district staff providing the services to our students. In the past, we do a lot of outside agencies and a lot of outside providers. We're really trying to minimize that, fit into our current staff schedules to be able to deliver these services. So the number of outside approvals here is less than it's been in previous years. Now that has a lot of benefits. Obviously, our in-house staff, that's why we're here, because we want to use our own staff. We want to be able to have people who know the students who best provide the services. We want to be able to use the trained staff that we've felt highly enough to hire on and bring here to deliver the services. And of course, there's a community that goes along with that as well. But we really feel that it's better for our students, it's better for the staff that we're working with. They can work more closely with our classroom teachers, so there's carryover to develop these and instruction that's happening in the classroom. So the more we can do that, the more pleased we are. A number of these are also for out-of-district students. So some of them that are out-of-district providers are because they are out-of-district students being delivered at a private out-of-district place. Section B, curriculum. We have not for the curriculum, but this kind of relates to what I said a few minutes ago about our supervisors. We've been a little stagnant here for some time, but I know we labored that point last year. I did it, but we're definitely going to start to see a lot happening as far as curriculum instruction, getting things updated, innovative, and really transforming. So that's something that we'll see you hear more about in October, but it's something that we're very excited about. Section C, another one is our workshops. I just want to point out one of those workshops. Kim Salmon is attending workshop, well, it's an online workshop, so she's not really attending, but to become a Google Apps certified trainer. This is something that was started a few years ago. It was a larger use of Google Apps in education, and it kind of fell off a little bit, and we really have a push to start to use it again. They encourage collaboration, creativity, communication. It's something that most schools are doing, and something that we really want to get into our classrooms a lot more. Chris Duval, our STEM supervisor, when he presents, we talk quite a bit about that. But we're really lucky to have a teacher who's interested and has the ability to become a certified trainer, so she can come back and turnkey that within the district to as many staff members. There is no limit, so it's really, eventually to our whole district. So that's a great resource for us to have. The district works on that as well. Field trips, just want to point out the field trips, the asterisk outside regular school hours, there's no cost to the district on any of those. Those are really culminating activities or team building activities for those clubs. That's not what we're doing.
Through the chair, one question on that.
Sure.
Is busing included for that or no?
No, we provide their own transportation
Okay.
and pay their own costs.
Thank you.
And number 5. Number 5 is our lease purchase of technology, which is something that's been in our budget over the last few years. I just want to highlight some of the things that are in the lease purchase this year. Smart notebook software, which we have our Epson interactive whiteboards, we have smart boards in some classrooms. But this license will allow us, all of our teachers in all of our classrooms to use the smart notebook software, which is really the best out there for designing lessons. Not only designing lessons, but it's more so the pool of resources that they offer. Teachers can go online, any subject, any content area, anything you want to find, there's lessons that are there that are pre-made. The teacher can easily take that as is or adapt it to what they want to do. But it's an incredible resource that it's well worth the cost and really will increase the use and the quality of use of our interactive whiteboards in all of our classrooms. We have an upgrade to our web filter, which is part of what we need for part preparation. We have a network upgrade, which is also something we need for preparing for part. Chromebooks in each of our schools, we talked about that in our budget process last year. 30 Chromebooks for each school, 20 in Washington School. Those will be used for daily classroom instruction as well as for part testing. We're replacing 24 computers in the district that are more than 5 years old. Once a computer is more than 5 years old, the State Department of Education no longer considers it a computer. Doesn't mean you can't keep them in your schools. It doesn't mean you can't continue to use them. Many of us have computers in our homes that are older than 5 years. However, it doesn't count when we look at our student to computer ratio. The state does not count those as functional operating computers. So we do try to replace as many as we can. Get into our classrooms with technology, so we're increasing 24 of those. We're increasing some of our video capabilities, which really relates to the program that Mr. Kashowski teaches. It's not just his stuff, but it's in that department. And we are finishing our wireless, which a lot of that money was donated from our Education Foundation, but it's also district funded. So all of those will be wireless, and also have greater information with mobile devices. One of the old things that our old wireless system is not able to do is have teachers, for example, using iPads or other devices that reflect it's on their iPad onto the screen. Couldn't do that with our wireless system, and we will be able to do that, which again opens up a lot more opportunities. Any questions there or anything else? Sections?
Through the chair. Number 7, just
Yes.
confirmation. So that should basically mean the students be out of school for, is it the Thursday through Monday, or they return on Monday? It's 4 through 8, which should be
4 through 8, that have to
Monday.
be that reference that was provided.
Yeah, it didn't clearly indicate,
I'm not sure.
but I'm assuming it's,
I'm assuming-
3 days out of school and I'll be substitutes, but.
No, we would.
You would.
I mean, our music teachers would be chaperoning that trip as well as parents. It may be similar when our softball team goes to Florida, for example. Policy. So, you want to present, you want me to?
I can. The policy committee met on the 25th of August and reviewed a variety of different policies, some were on for second reading and then some were on for first reading. I'd like to bring the board's attention to the one that's on for second reading, policy 9191. That is the Booster Club. Thank you. I was supposed to use that word. Basically, just to highlight some of the revisions from the first reading. Original bullet 1 was removed. We removed that requirement requirement due to be very costly for individual groups to obtain a tax-free classification. We didn't feel that it was absolutely necessary. This is now optional and up to each individual booster club to determine if it's going to be needed. Original bullet 2, which is now bullet 1, is just modified the wording to clarify the true intent, which is that all booster clubs are to be recognized by the Board of Education. Original bullet 3 was also removed. This was a requirement for the clubs to have liability insurance. Again, due to the cost of that for the individual groups to obtain and the fact that we're going to be recognized in each group as the Board of Education, we felt that that would not be necessary because their insurance would then be covered. Original bullet 4 is now bullet 2. It has this revised wording to request submission of the club meeting minutes and the treasurer's report through the season versus filing one annual report at the end of the year or the end of the season. And then the remaining bullets are all remain intact. So we're asking that those be moved through for second reading and approved tonight. In addition, 2 new policies were also reviewed, 3283 and 4283. These are policies regarding electronic communications between staff and students. We reviewed those, and the committee opted with the selection of family member exemption, submission of notification. So you would have seen that in the policy as well. And then the remaining policies were all basically mandates or rewritten based on current code changes. One additional comment with respect to policy, the policy committee is recommending that the board take into consideration enacting a motion that will allow the committee to approve basic mandated policy updates. These would be policy updates that don't really change the intent of the policy, but they would simply, maybe again, update the code or the wording or things along those lines. So if the committee just approved it, then we wouldn't have to continue to give them, to full board each month. So that's something just for the board to consider and with the possible motion, motion in the future. And that is the policy report.
Any other committee reports?
Well, actually, if we move to, I'm sorry, we don't need to entertain, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Any committee reports?
I have one. The Curriculum, Technology, and Programs Committee met. Subjects discussed were priorities for our new supervisors. Since they started in July, they've made contact with teachers, seeking professional development opportunities for teachers and jumping into the position with great enthusiasm. They're updating curriculum documents, training teachers on the core content standards and the Common Core, PARC readiness, the testing, work with the reading specialists, work towards improving remedial services for students and INRS, basic skills and monitoring the progress of student performance in all elementary schools. Professional development as well, PARC again, writer's workshop in writing and behavior and classroom management, that's professional development. Integrated preschool programs already in set for September, led by David Rowe, our Director of Special Services. Full day kindergarten program already set for September. Tony Grosso and Christine Steiner took the leadership role in the curriculum instruction for that, as well as other teachers that will be teaching. Special ed education Wilson training. One of our teachers will be trained in the Wilson reading program. Special education included resource programs. Improvements were made by making all schools a resource model and eliminating the single example we had of a collaborative classroom at the elementary level. Guess not. Okay. Also, an in-district program has been implemented that gives our students guidance and support to improve academics and behavior. That's with the middle school and high school suspension alternative programs. New financial literacy curriculum, all set for September. INRS, we're updating forms to be used throughout the entire district. Training will be provided to ensure more consistency, and will be led by Susan Madison, Supervisor of Guidance. Transition from middle school to high school. We're looking from 6th to 7th grade, we're looking to create a committee of teachers and administrators to improve our orientation for sixth graders moving into the middle school. Also, the committee will focus on aligning the sixth grade curriculum from 3 elementary into the 7th grade curriculum. And guidance programs looking into revising the INRS and update forms and process, implementing more character education programs, and implementing college and career readiness services.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. Also, Mr. Cassell, thank you for your policy report. Budget, Mrs. Robinson is here. Also referendum, Mrs. Robinson is here. Buildings and grounds, cafeteria, green, school and security, Mr. Quinn.
Yes, we will be, the committee will be meeting on Wednesday, so I'll give a full report of that committee on Wednesday's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Negotiations.
It's not a report right now, with the thing for the end of this year, probably looking at that.
And very well. Correspondence.
Yes, this is an annual letter received from our auditors, workshops and committees. It just states that there's a two-way communication between the board, the governing body, and the auditors. Since we don't have an audit committee or a finance committee, they just say here that if there's any issues you would like to discuss with them, I just recommend that we would bring that to President White, and he could call Mr. Birch and discuss it. And then they give a full report. I think with the audit, usually the second. That's basically it.
Anybody have any comments about the letter?
How long will the award for the school district?
How long we have?
Yeah, how long have they done this?
5 years, 7 years, quarterly.
Okay, next is old business.
Yeah, this is something that's on our agenda every month. Obviously, we have all new goals this year, so really at this point, I just wanted to share a little about what our approved goals for next year are. And then each month we'll give our updates and we're progressing. The first one is to restructure our guidance department, implement new programs to better serve our students. There's two main focuses of that, although the other things included. One of them is to increase our college and career readiness rank on our school report card, on our school performance report that comes from the state. Essentially, there's 5 criteria that they use to create that rank. One is the percentage of students who take the PSATs, the percentage of students who take the SATs, the number of students who score 1550 or higher on the SATs, the number of students enrolled in AP courses, and the number of students scoring 3 or higher on the AP exam. And I want to point out that although those are the keys those are the items that define our score, that's really only one part of our motivation when we talk about restructuring and guidance. It's not just to put students in AP courses. It's not just to have more students taking the SATs. We keep talking about wanting to challenge our students more, wanting to have them challenge themselves, set high goals for themselves, to leave high school with a plan for their future and have a program here where we've given them the skills and the knowledge to graduate and then carry out that plan and realize that plan. That's our goal. These are items that are means to that end. They're not the only things. But we also talk about perception of our school and rankings. We know where they are in these cases. So, by better serving our students, the ranking comes with it. It improves. The better job we do, the better our ranking will be. But really, our motivation is to make sure that our students are challenging themselves. And they leave here with a plan for the future. They leave here with the skills to execute that plan. I think by addressing some of these issues, kids will have a better vision for what they want to do. A lot of that comes from our curriculum and how we start to drive them towards that. We talk about a guidance program, driving students towards those goals. It starts in the elementary schools. And so the second piece of that goal is implementing school-wide character education programs in the elementary schools and the middle schools. Character ed is not just about social and emotional development. This is a piece of it. It's what's called character education. It's also about building connectedness to school, motivating students, and connectedness is that big piece. It's about having students be motivated to go to school, looking forward to going to school because there's things there that excite them, things that connect them to the school, to each other, to the teachers, and that's what we want to see coming out of our new guidance program. So we have very high goals for our new guidance elementary programs as well as Second goal is to implement a successful and consistent full-day kindergarten program district-wide. That's pretty self-explanatory. Our third goal is to continue to concentrate on high-quality professional development that directly impacts classroom practice. There are three main pieces there that we're going to focus on this year. One is a new teacher induction program. We start actually tomorrow, right? You heard me mention before how many new people we have coming into the district. Tomorrow and Wednesday is our new teacher orientation, which are 2 full days where teachers will be introduced to staff in the district, and review policies and procedures, understanding IEPs and special education. We train on the Danielson model, which is what we use for teacher evaluation, review of curricular and instructional expectations, and we'll have school-specific orientation. But that's just a piece of it. We talk about a new teacher induction program. We're talking about developing something that occurs over a multi-year period. Two days of training before school starts to prepare our teachers. We need to have something that's in place so that teachers receive regular ongoing support over the first few years in the district. That's what we're in the process of performing. Part training and training on curriculum standards are the other 2 main areas that we're covering this year as well. Fourth goal is to enhance the quality and security in and around our schools, security, school security. Updating our emergency manuals, making sure that's up to date, and then looking at our policies and procedures for each school building. And the fifth is improving the quality of our teacher observations. So to make sure that our teachers and administrators are really examining instruction in the classroom the way they should be. Teachers are receiving high quality feedback, which really has an impact on what they're doing on a daily basis. So we spend a lot of time with our administrative team, training, calibrating, even more familiar with our Danielson model, with the requirements of the law, and then making sure that we're looking at consistency in the platform.
Anyone else have any old business? I just have one thing, it's only about 30 minutes old, but I just wanted to say, I forgot to mention with Principal Sarda, one of the things that one of the biggest things that he did is during his tenure, and I think it's part of his legacy, he was a very big proponent in the school uniforms. And I believe I'm correct, I think it was his idea, he had brought that forward to the Board of Education. One of the big advantages of school uniforms is that we're able to see, detect outsiders that come into schools, another security point. Just wanted to mention that. Okay, the next is new business. New business? Okay, at this time, we need a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So moved for that.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The open portion of the meeting is open to the public. Residents are to state their name, address, and subject matter. All members of the public are encouraged to mindful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Due to confidentiality and legal rights afforded by the state of New Jersey to students and employees, no member of the public will be permitted to speak negatively about an employee or student. All comments will be considered, and a response may be forthcoming if and when appropriate. Issues raised by the members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. Members of the public are legally responsible and liable for their comments. The board bears no responsibility for comments made.
I would ask for public comment if you come to the podium for the sake of our recording, so we can make sure everybody who speaks, if public comment is actually in the recording.
This is a problem.
Amy Wiggins, 228 South Road. I just had a question when you were just talking about the CFRA, these classes that the kids are learning. Are they going to be certified? Because I know now, I think in junior year, they do learn CPR, but they don't get their certificates.
Well, law was just passed a couple days ago, so we're going to have to wait for guidance on the state of exactly what that requirement entails. We really don't have any more details to share on that.
Perfect. Thank you. Sure.
Anyone else? Sure.
Good evening, everyone. Omar Rodriguez, 275 Madison Avenue.
First and foremost, I got a couple of questions for the attorney. President White just read when he opened the meeting public, and I got a little problem, where it says will be permitted to speak, and no one will be allowed to, or permitted to speak negative about an employee. I believe that that will affect my freedom of speech. If I want to say that the business administrator is not doing a good job, he's overpaid, that is my freedom of speech. He's not doing a great job, he might be considered, like some of you, negative, not for me. For me, that might be as a constructive criticism that you gotta shape up and do better. So that's something that I would like to be removed because I will fight this one. This will affect the Constitution of the United States, which is freedom of speech. And no one can tell me just to come over here and just to speak positive things about me. So that's the first one. Second, also just heard Mr. Katz just approved because of lack of time. Have to be approved on mine right now, which is not usual at the work session. Through the chair, for the attorney again, I would like her to brief me for the next meeting, if that is possible, because today it could be $150, next time it could be $150,000. The way this operates is actually when there's something that have to be forward because of lack of time, it have to be called for a special meeting, or it have to be done through a straw poll. Then when it comes, the work session is one thing, the regular meeting is another thing. It have to be approved in regular meeting. Otherwise, it have to be published. That is, action is going to be taken and it's going to be uphold. And now, if we're gonna make that rule now that in the work sessions it's going to be approved, then it will be no surprise that at any work session when not all members are present, that major things might be approved. And that's what we have the regular meeting. Work session is just to discuss. And I understand that always sometimes there is an emergency thing and things that need to be approved. But there are also offline checks that can be approved. After the fact, not a work session, I think there's a lot of practice and we shouldn't continue with that. Again, that is just my perception. I hope there is no misconstrued as negative. But then again, one more to the chair, for the attorney. Not that I like so much the attorney, but I like speaking there. I'm troubled with policy 3283. I'm by the way. First and foremost, for many years I've been fighting for the meetings to be televised. And I want to commend all of you for your dedication, effort, and the nonsense that for so many years a lot of members were saying that it should be televised. And I believe that it's going to be an asset and benefit to the residents because a lot of people would like to come, but they don't have the time. They got to cook some of the mountains on that at the same time, and they got to take care of the small children. So I hope that for Wednesday they have the proper mics so the camera can pick up that audio. And hopefully it can get better and better and better so everybody will be informed because most of the portion of our taxes goes into the board of education. So the people or the residents got the right to know what's going on. So now, continue with the attorney. On trouble, I would like to say that these copies, I don't know, I guess all of you are better than me, but not me, I'm too slow. To read all this and to make comments, how long in advance do I have to come for a meeting or to a meeting? If any of you can tell me that you can read this and understand it in less than 15 or 20 minutes, I will applaud it. But let's be fair. Not everybody got the same understanding, I guess, or the speed to read. I'm too dumb, I guess, for this. But it should be posted online prior to the meeting, prior to being voted upon. Because right now, and again to the attorney, on policy 3283, I got a problem because I believe that it will create a liability for the district. This is about for the people in attendance right here. This is in regards to electronic communication between teaching staff members and students. We've seen so many cases going on right now nationwide. And my question is so simple. One thing is to exchange data about the school. But what is the liability for the school system if one teacher goes offhand with one student at 9 or 10 o'clock p.m.? Is going to be the school district liable, responsible for whatever the teacher does to the student? Or the district should just allow the teachers to be in contact through the school database, or rather say the media or the assistant during the school hours. Some of the teachers I know that they stay up to 5, 6 o'clock, they get preparing the work day for the next day. When am I going to leave the problem? Too many cases. I believe that this should be discussed, debated properly, and enhanced, because the way I was reading, again, I'm too slow to read, I guess. I'm not too happy with this. It will create a liability for the school district. Now, again, with a term. Policy 2417, which is the student intervention and referral services that you guys are going to approve on Wednesday. This is reference 812 on your proposal, just pick it up. And again, I'm sorry, I apologize for being too slow to read. Most of the stuff has been crossed out. And I guess to the chair, can I refer directly to the attorney so she can explain to me when it's crossed out and means that, oh, you missing that? So it's gonna, the crossed out are the ones that you're gonna need, correct?
If you want to finish, I can answer all your.
No, this is my first question before I pop out the second question.
That's not your first question. Your first question.
No, 2417. A lot of the items are crossed out.
Right, the strike throughs are things that are being removed, the young information is there. But if I may answer your previous questions about policy 3283 and 4283 is the same. One's for support staff members, one's for certificated staff members, as far as electronic communications. That's required by law, that was passed by the state legislature. Our school district has no option, no language there, except for the option that Mrs. Massell referred to, which was an option allowing communications for staff members who have children or for family members who are relatives in the district. There is that exception. However, the rest of it is a mandated policy. It's passed in training by our state legislature. As far as the IRS, the changes that were made are also code changes that we are required to follow. There was no option there. There was also a mandatory policy.
I read that because I'm following out the communications. I spoke to a couple of senators already. And hopefully I'll have an announcement next meeting on this one because there is no hours in between that the legislature haven't put in place. So it's okay for a teacher to communicate with a student in 11. And I was told at the very beginning that that's going to be established by the school districts. So when do you realize that it's okay for a teacher to speak through communication, all the social media or emails, a teacher of 30 years old speaking to a 14 or 15 or 16 years old? Is it okay at 11:30 p.m. to be changing communication? That's just a question. But then again, on this 2417, my thing is, most of the stuff that has been crossed out, it doesn't tell me now, except that the team, the I and RS team will determine who is going to go into that program. So how do you identify one of the students that have to be in that particular program? It's just going to be that team. So it's not, since you, and again, you just mentioned the state. But then again, the state just give you the guidelines. When the state mandate, they just send you the law itself by statute. When they send you the sample, is for the school district to review and to adopt it based on the needs for the information. So now, furthermore, on 2481, it says home or out of school instruction for general education student reasons other than temporary or chronic health conditions. My little knowledge on this subject tells me that usually troubled students go to this program. If so, it doesn't say in this particular policy. Correct me if I'm wrong, if a kid do not behave properly and is not allowed to come back to school. So the state's requiring that we, school district, providing with one-on-one education. It doesn't tell me for how long. Now, is the teacher going to go to the home of this student and who is going to be responsible for the safety of this teacher that's going to the home. All what it requires the law is that a person older than 21 years old is present from the family, I guess, where the parent wants to live out there, but 10 hours a week. But the thing is, if someone, a student, pull out a gun, let's just say that they pull a gun, and they're not ready to come back to school, so it's Monday to Saturday to send a teacher. But who's going to be responsible for the safety of the teacher? So those are things that it doesn't say here, and especially for how long is the school district responsible? Those are just questions. Now, but I'm just going to leave it up there, I guess, for you guys to debate or determine. Now, also right here, policy 5112, which is regards to kindergarten. I'm glad to hear that we are going to open. It's one of the greatest things that have happened in so many years in South Road. I just got questions. Please don't take it negative. I'm going to do spell. Just going to be positive. Kindergarten. Prior to kindergarten, it says preschool disabled. Again, nothing else. But when it says preschool disabled, it says a child is eligible for entrance into a program at his or her third birthday. That's for preschool disabled. And when we go down, when we kindergarten, you have to be 5 years old. And we go into first grade, it says 6 years old. This is my question. A lot of kids come from different countries, and by what I'm reading right now, it says that kindergarten now is mandatory. So if a kid comes from Europe, Latin America, Africa, or whatever, he's 7 years old. Are you going to send him back to kindergarten? Or just because they need to take the test to see if it's okay for him to go to first grade, the school will determine if he gets started in kindergarten. Why to make it mandatory? There are just, again, questions, but this is the reality. In paper is one thing, the reality is another. And this is not a state. This is a school district, and we can work with this. Because you can be exceptions to the rule, and a lot of kids come here, they are 8 years old, 7 years old, they don't speak the language, but then you cannot send them to kindergarten at 7 or 8 years old. That's something for you to discuss. Last part. Yeah, just one more. Just one more. I would like you to, Mr. President, Mr. White, I would like you to consider for your next work session meeting, if possible, to start sending packets to the 3 candidates that are running unopposed. My point is that if they have the time to apply for the position, it's because they really care about what's going on. I'm not asking to send any legal paper or any personal stuff, but at least documents like this or projects that might be working or might be in the works. Some of those projects take 6 months, a year and a half. Why not give them a chance and the opportunity to start reading and to start getting knowledgeable about what's going on in the school district? After all, if they got more experience and they have more knowledge and they have more documents, that will be better prepared when they are sworn in on January 1st. I think there will be no other than just benefit to the district, the school district, and all the taxpayers. I wish you all thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Just your last comment that you wanted me to speak about regarding the giving out the, I guess you talk about the agendas to the members that were just, that are running unopposed in November. One thing that, first of all, technically, they might not be elected because there could be write-ins. So, technically speaking, they're not elected yet. So that's one point. also, we went through this a couple of years ago, and I believe when Mr. Quinn and Mr. Haviston and Mr. Winnie were on board, when they ran unopposed, but it was after they were elected. And I know there was some legal prohibition, for the attorney. There was some reason why we couldn't do that. I know, when you bring up a good point, there are certain things that, obviously, legal matters, personnel matters, that they wouldn't be able to get without a doubt, until they're sworn in. I know that until they're sworn in, they have to get background checks, criminal background checks, or they're allowed to be sworn in. So there's some legal ramifications, and I'm going to defer to.
Yeah, and I would just prefer to say that your questions, I took notes of what you had to say, anything that are most appropriate for the attorney will be responding to at the next meeting in all of this program.
That would be great. But if I just can amend some of the things Mr. White just made. Again, I just want to reinforce the fact that I'm not asking for any personal issues to be sent in the package. I'm not asking for anything related to litigation. All I'm asking is basically documents that I can get myself by just doing an Oprah. I can just request it myself as a resident, as a citizen. Not even you have to live in Stockholm to request those papers. The journalists can ask for papers. All just I'm asking is just to make it a lot easier and just to get more knowledgeable about some issues. It's nothing to lose. What are we going to lose? The only legal ramification that I see in this, without being an attorney, is that they have their hands on something that is related to personal matters. But in this case, this is different than Mr. Quinn and Bruce Winnie. Totally different because those elections were in the month of April. Now we're doing it in November. Before, you could win just with 20 or 40 votes. Those years are gone. Will never happen again in the history of Southbrook. Never. Now the people are going to come out. For one way or the other, either president, senator, mayor. By the way, good luck to you. You have the election. But people are going to come and express the sentiment. So it's not going to be no more of that. So then, again, you can discuss it. I just posed the question. I'm asking for your consideration, so it's up to you to debate. I'm not pushing for it. I don't want an answer. I don't need an answer tonight. You guys can discuss it. The attorney, I'm pretty sure that she's well versed on the subject, and she will just give you the legal ins and outs of this, and maybe hopefully by next month you can have an answer. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Just one more thing, Mr. Rodriguez, I'd like to clarify the policies. For Wednesday night, the first group, number one, the two policies we approved Wednesday night, they were first introduced in June. So normally there's 30 days between the two readings. So the second group are just being introduced now into the policy committee. They're being introduced now, and we normally just the 30-day period for public comment and the board to ask questions and then they're approved for the next following week. So the second group will not be approved. Most of the ones you brought up will not be approved Wednesday night.
Can I speak from here, or do I have to go there?
My preference would be to see if there's anyone else in the audience who's not yet had an opportunity to speak before giving Mr. Rodriguez his comments yet.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone?
I'm Dawn Stewart, 164 South Broadway in Southbrook. I'm currently the track recreational commissioner, and I have reached out to the athletic director twice regarding the condition of the long jump pit, track in general, but the long jump pit most important. I coach first grade through 8th grade kids, and the little guys. What's happened is the runway to the long jump has become kind of hazardous. It's curling up around the board. The sand is extremely hard. I know we had a very, very tough beginning to the season. I know I opened it late, and it was really getting to the pit to our second track meet because the sand was hard and everything. I offered to work together with the track coach, with the athletic director to see what we can do to improve the conditions of this. I haven't heard back yet, so I'm looking for some suggestions as to how I can. Basically, I'm the one who uses the, track is the most important to me. My first event of the season is my one and only fundraiser of the season. I get no funding from the town, nor do I need it, and I'm the cheapest sport in town. So I would like to see what I can do to continue this, because I have about 80 kids on my team, and they really come on my track. So, looking for some suggestions.
Oh, I know, I'm familiar with this complaint, and as a matter of fact, this complaint before the Browns committee. And when I asked Mr. Roddy, to see if there was anything that was done. I know it was turned over to Keith, our supervisor of buildings and grounds.
Yeah, I know they did some items to address that situation. I haven't had an update, but we're going to update that one, so it needs to be changed or modified. Is it for the fall, is it a full track?
Yeah, we actually start practicing in March. Our first event's the first or second week in April, depending on the calendar. And we actually go all the way to almost late July, early August. I have about 20 to 30 kids that make it to states. I have about 10 to 15 that make it to regionals, and I had 4 that made it to nationals. So, I mean, we can go pretty far, but it's a little tough to try and train these kids when we don't have access to things. So, I mean, they have a lot of spirit, and I'd like to keep that up.
You're not using facilities in the fall, in the spring.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Spring.
Thanks.
Yes.
My name is Dave Disney, I'm 17 Park, New Jersey. Solid resident. 1986, I was a participant in the adult high school program. I was going up for education. I received a diploma drawn by Al Hack at that point. I hope to go back and get a copy of my high school diploma. He told me there's no record. Unfortunately, due to Hurricane Floyd, the records were destroyed. And I went to try to retrieve records. Supposedly, speaking to Mrs. Linder, who was the broker at the time, Val Hack. She said that records were taken by Val Hack, somehow misplaced or lost. The only thing I got is my commencement that indicates here who the graduates are, and from 1986. So I'm kind of curious how do I go about getting proof of a high school diploma at this point.
After we're done, why don't you give your contact information?
So, thank you. I can show you the old criminal,
Anyone else? Mr. Beard? Mr. Rodriguez? Go back to the podium.
Mr. Brad, even if it's not going to be voted on Wednesday, I believe that a lot of parents would like to be included in the process. And if it's posted properly, I believe that a lot of parents might not be able to come here, but they might be able to send you ideas on how do they feel that it should be improved, and what is good and what is not good. Usually, I learn something that it's better to be proactive than reactive, and it's not good when everything is said and done. Just give the parents an opportunity. Give the residents an opportunity to have a say in the whole process, and I help you guys, the elected officials, to make a wise decision. I'm being there. I like to be there as a attorney. For the chair, the attorney did not run these. She did not say who speaks and who doesn't speak when here. Who goes first or who goes second, that's not important. The call is yours, Mr. President. You decide. The professionals right here are just at your disposal when you have a legal question that you might entangle some basically pro-litigation or something that is done out of order. But you should be determined whether to allow the person to keep speaking or to continue on that or just to shut them down. Okay, show me. It's not professional. Professional, excuse me, I'm just going to chair. Basically, unless it's a legal notification, that's when you just ask her a question, and she will just be able to listen, but she will not even need to act unless it's okay by you with the public, because it's your meeting and it's not a professional meeting. They got paid. You guys don't get paid. They are just here to serve you with any legal questions. Thank you all. And have a good night. Thank you, Mr.
I would like to make a comment to the public, to Mr. Rodriguez and all members present. I've been hired by the Saddlebrook Board of Education, and part of my responsibilities to ensure that the policies of the district are enforced. So, in my role as board attorney, I am responsible for enforcing the policies regarding conduct. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else from the public wish to be heard?
I'd just like to clarify policy 5112. I mean, the entrance age for kindergarten policy does not require anyone to enter kindergarten at age 7, 8, 9, 10, or any other age. All it requires is that students have to be 5 or older by October 1st. We're going to start kindergarten in that year. It's been our policy for many, many years. The only change to this policy that's on the agenda is that we created an exception. Because we run into a couple of situations where students have moved either from another state or from another district in New Jersey where the cutoff date maybe is October 15th, October 31st, and therefore they miss the first grade entrance age. They miss being 6 by October 1st. Because they're not 6 by October 1st, and they follow the policy of where they lived before, we didn't want to send them to kindergarten missing that. So we thought if a person follows the policy for the state they live in, or the district they live in, and then they move here and our name is different, we didn't want them to be somewhat penalized for an October 31st cutoff. So that's the change to our policy, is to make an exception for students who are moving from somewhere else with a different cutoff.
Seeing that we have no one else from the public, just now need a motion to close the meeting to the public. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Now we need a motion to recess to close the executive session to discuss personnel, contract negotiations, pending anticipated litigation, and matters covered by the attorney-client privilege for New Jersey statute 10:4-6, Open Public Meetings Act. Subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need confidentiality no longer exists. Action may be taken when the board reconvenes in open session. Need a motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Now we're in closed session. Thank the public for coming.
Thank you. It's really hard.
Yeah, sure.